Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti? Mueve, mueve. ¿Te gusta cuando me muevo así? Así.
Thank you, God, for this day. We have lived everything in our life, our health, our family, the guidance you have given us, allow us guidance to the path of righteousness. Amen.
Really, I'ma get that bitch. Revenge is a dish best served cold. She took my son, now my soul is cold. He took my daddy, now my soul is old. Yeah. Woke up.
Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub?
King Chaka ENT. Y'all can check out the music on Spotify, Apple, and other services.
Looks like we got us another hit. Yep. Yeah, this is what it is. It's what it is. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. I done played the block and it's time to stop. Pop the block, then drop the top. Button how to say fuck the cops. They keep it hot up on my block. Keep it not up in my pocket. You know the G and I can't be stopped. Flip the script with serving dip. Keep the heat on Silent Hill. You know when I know that pure water just so cold. Riding on boats, slamming wood dough. Sipping on drink, fucking these hoes. Riding on boats, push kilos. Me and my boys ball out of control. Got so much ice we can balance Super Bowl. Me, Lil G, I can't be hoe. Look at my mouth, see number gold. Fucking with a knife, we'll make you fold. Look at my room, see number polo. Step in the bed and in the studio. Over your nose, the smell of smoke. Over your mouth, and start to blow. Now you know we got that dope. Me and my boys ball out of control. We keyed up and G'd up. We should've lost straight speed up. We should've decided to pull my heat up. Lost things going big, I'm fucked up. Nigga, we keyed up and G'd up. Once you lost straight speed up. We should've decided to pull my heat up. Lost things going back, I'm fucked up. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle.
Hitting niggas in they fucking head with a crack. Bustin', I'm bustin' back with a gap that spits venom. You sitting black. And when the bottom of the knife and it's smack, Iblis,
the cat's waxing him back.
Cause he ain't suffered enough, hustled enough, scuffling cuff his hand to a cop, nothing discussed, cutting his nuts to his cock. Something to shock a spark out your heart when you stop jogging in the park. And you meet a nigga dog that fight ball, blood spilling on the sidewalk. Staying in the light is smart despite staying on course, of course, cause the smell of death escaping out of corpse is rough. Top half man and I be damned if they bottom half horse. Hush, lost souls rushing to touch the black hole, wishing to be dust gagging and fuss, cause the demon face leaking pus.
All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. Trapping and rapping ain't about the hustle. I don't wanna tussle. Out trapping and rapping ain't about the hustle. I don't wanna tussle. Out.
Man, why the hell this house ain't clean, man? Where the food at? Hey, man. Oh my God.
Been working all day.
Dang. Private numbers on the phone.
And it make me wonder.
No meal when I'm home.
It make me wonder.
And you don't even want a bone.
And it make me wonder.
The wrong name when you moan.
And that make me wonder.
Private numbers on the phone.
And it make me wonder.
No meal when I'm home.
And it make me wonder.
And you don't even wanna bone.
And it make me wonder.
The wrong name when you moan.
And that make me wonder.
I told my girl to try new things, talk, but she say she ain't into that.
Mine's is into that, she all on the internet.
What you mean, MySpace?
Hell yeah, MySpace. Then she wanna trip when it's chicks in my face.
Blah, 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 etc., etc.
You ain't gon' find nobody better.
But her girlfriend's telling her
She's a princess.
but Chuck, I love her. Should I come to my senses?
Pussy whoop, that vagina got you
No,
senseless.
Chuck, I'm just saying, I'm coming home to new.
Man, I need a blunt. Matter of fact, twist two of them.
She say that house dirty, so I blame it on the poodle.
ain't clean the bathroom in weeks.
And she won't get pissed off when it's piss on the seat. Private numbers on the phone.
And that make me wonder.
No meal when I'm home.
And that make me wonder.
And you don't even wanna bone.
And that make me wonder.
The wrong name when you moan.
And that make me wonder.
Private numbers on the phone.
And it make me wonder.
No meal when I'm home.
And it make me wonder.
And you don't even wanna bone.
And that make me wonder.
The wrong name when you moan.
And that make me wonder. Tossing in the bed, strange thoughts in my head.
What you think, she cheating?
Nah, I don't know, I ain't give her a reason.
Every time I go to mine's office, her boss just leaving.
Breathing and wheezing like she got asthma.
She just got 3 raises and a brand new plasma.
Mine spend all my money at garage sales.
I was thinking about marriage, buying a ring from Zelle.
Why she need $100 just to do her nails?
Man, she won't even salute my little soldier.
Just don't care.
I could swear she bipolar.
She take my Escalade.
Got me driving her Nova.
She bought a 7-Up.
Man, she know I like cola.
Forgot I was born in the month of October.
Man, I'm finna go and tell her that it's over.
Man, I'm finna go and tell her that it's over.
Yes, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be. Stop, Ryan. I'm going to be working so a little late tonight, so could you go home and make sure the kids are in bed and probably have to cook yourself something to eat tonight, so. Okay. Well, until
That's what I'm talking about right there. See that? It's a wrap. We done. Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub that?
Yeah, man, let's do it, dog. Let's get it done, dog. You know what I'm saying? It's hot shit.
Hey, say y'all load that down right quick, bro. I got a little message or something, you know what I'm saying?
Hi, this is Dr. Nicole calling from Fort Plaza Hospital to inform you that Cassell Williams has died with multiple gunshot wounds to the head at 4:45 a.m.
Man.
For further information, you can contact the hospital at 713-2.
Man, these niggas fucked up. Oh my god, yo, fucked up. Black bandana, finger on the hammer. You won't see these apes go bananas. Ride with the heat, ride with the heat, ride with the heat, ride with the heat. Yeah, black bandana, fingers on the camera. You won't see this shit go bananas. Ride with the heat, ride with the heat, ride with the heat, ride with the heat. Yeah, motherfucker gotta die. You gotta die, motherfucker gotta die. Make a go banana, my fingers on the hammer for you nail type niggas. I'm a jail type nigga. Give a hell about hell, my nigga. Flame was doing fine till they killed my nigga. Now I gotta touch him up, rough him up, fuck him up, fucking stuff at his family. Killing his people randomly. Man, nigga gon' handle me. And my nigga ain't die in vain. I'ma ride on his name and shoot 5 in the sky. And them niggas who killed him must be ready to die. They could give me the chair because I'm ready to fight. Real niggas ride with that chrome and they niggas is gone. Pull out a whole 40, taking scotch to the dome. Yeah, black bandana, fingers on the hammer. You don't want to see this tapes go bananas. Ride with the heat, ride with the heat, ride with the heat. You gotta die, motherfucker. Black bandana, finger on the hammer. You don't want to see this tape go bananas. Ride with the heat, ride with the heat, ride with the heat. You gotta die, motherfucker. That was my nigga. the thought of my mother, my brother, the chopper saying, hey, any nigga who I thought who did it, I'm coming, homie, and I'm coming to get it. What? I smell revenge is all in the air. I'm fucking at your kids cause the boy don't care. You ain't care when you took my nigga life. So I'ma show you what the pipe and the other side like. Yeah. Die, motherfucker, get the fuck out of here. See my partner gone, he got the fuck out of here. Cause the pussy niggas just like you. I'm a gorilla piranha like him, I'm about to bite you. Don't wanna fight you, hit you with that pipe, dude. Show you what the other side like, dude. Hey, it's not a game, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real nigga, you know what I'm saying? I believe when a nigga take my nigga, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking his nigga, I'm taking his family, I'm taking his sperm, I'm taking his kids, cause I'ma shoot him in his nuts, you hear me? Real gangster.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that mess up. Thank you, God, for this day we have lived, everything in our life, our health, our family, the guidance you have given us. Allow us guidance to the path of righteousness. Amen, amen, amen. How y'all feeling out there? Y'all feeling good? It's good to feel good. Right? It's a lot going on. The name of the show today is Think Outside the Box. We'll get some more into that in a minute. Thinking outside of the box. What do y'all think about that? It's funny though, because they say think outside the box, but then they say, no, not like that. not like that. You have to think outside the box from inside the box. You're too far outside of the box. What's up, Pat? How you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. How about yourself?
I can't complain.
I've been thinking outside the box.
Yeah?
Yeah. You know, last night you asked me about what's her name? The Queen Elizabeth.
Uh-huh.
And it's not a thought all by myself. I was listening to some other people, and it's like we got to think about that the monarch and what that everything what that meant for that to exist the way it did, and that was for human suffering across the world. You know, a lot of things that never had to happen happened because of that the existence of the crown.
And to this day, because the sun still doesn't set on the British Empire. It still doesn't. They got colonies all over the world.
Yeah. So I mean, slavery and colonization. All those things happen because of the position that she holds, and she could have changed a lot of that because I mean, of course, like there was the whatever the parliament that they have set up there, but
it's the privilege. Would you give up? They're telling you you're the king, you're the queen, or whatever. You was inherited this because of your parents, and you just got to follow the traditions, and then you get to live a life of luxury. Because I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about how she lived her life in luxury the whole time. Like, the rest of us worried about paying bills or whatever we're worried about. Those things, she's not worried about those things. She never worried about those things. Ever. Having to get a job or how something's going to get paid, or let's say I need to buy a house. What do I need to get my credit up and all of this? You think she ever had any thoughts like that?
No. And most people that's living has lived under this rule. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully this is a mark where a lot of these different things really start to change, because I mean we know that we've gone into a new
era, time age.
Yes, like the Aquarian age, and then it's just like the way the universe is the alignments that's happening.
Right. So it has to go into something new, but still, what is that going to look like? And I think that, the United States is a baby British empire, right? We have to say that it's either a colony of them or it's a little baby version of them. So let's go
It's a
with the
colony.
well, let's go with it's a baby version of it. And then instead of the monarchy, you have the presidents. You know what I'm saying? You have the politicians, And it's very similar in that how many politicians you could probably name a bunch of them off the top of your head who their parent was a politician or whatever. You know what I'm saying? A president or whatever,
Well,
a
I mean,
high ranking
they said
politician.
that they're all directly linked to uh the to the crown. Like everybody that has been a president here in the United States is blood related to the queen.
So this is what I think. I think that instead of the monarchy, they're just changing the name, and it's pretty much the same thing because it's passed down from parents to children. You know, they continue to hold the wealth and influence. It's the like the owner class.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, and I mean, I guess really when you really think about it, because I mean, you really have to kind of, because the word disenfranchise, when you look at the disenfranchised people, the reason they call them that is because like when you look at all of the combined states that's supposed to be a franchise to the bigger business of, let's say, of Washington D.C., everything spurs out of it into a franchise business. And the disenfranchised, those that are not franchised with the company, with the business, like I don't know, maybe it doesn't hit, it's not hitting everybody else the same way it hit me, but just the way that the idea that because nobody, like when I grew up and said that you hear the word disenfranchised, you just didn't really pick it. I didn't pick it up. Maybe there's people that's way ahead of me on that idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for me, it's just like that said a whole lot of how and then the people who they disenfranchise, like it's the people that was original people to the land. Any foreigner that comes here can prosper, but those who that are original to the land are pretty much disenfranchised from the business.
Hmm. And then I think about sports when you're talking about this, and for the other side of this. So the flip side is like enfranchisement, or like you're the franchise, kind of like a star basketball player or a star football player. You get what I'm saying? And this guy gets benefits and gets treated like royalty, gets treated like he's better than the rest of the citizens. You get what
Gets
I'm saying?
bonuses, yeah, like the quarterback. I mean, like everybody loves the quarterback, and like I mean, they can't do no wrong. Like especially if you win them championships, and you know, you you know you bring in because you really bring in money to the franchise. But
Right.
that's still kind of a different look, because I mean we bring money to the franchise. That's so, that's where the you
But you
know
don't get no benefits
it,
of your labor, because in slavery, you had franchise players, I'm sure, on plantations. The plantation was the franchise, and you had star players there. But them they maybe got a few privileges more than others, but they didn't get compensated.
yeah.
So, but still, those privileges are like a form of compensation. So it's kind of like what I'm trying to say is it's like the same. It's the same. It's not very much different today.
Yeah, it's really not. I mean, and that's one of the things, because when you look across history, that's like if you have the able to really look, put all of the different factors in place, what was happening. like you can really kind of see that there's really not much difference.
It's the
You know.
continuation of all that stuff. When I study history, that's what I see, and that's why it's so interesting to me, is because I see how similar it is to today. And a lot of the stuff, it really just haven't changed. And it's like it's kind of like with slavery, because I saw this post today where they were talking about Tennessee, Mississippi, some other state was saying there's a ballot initiative to end slavery in their state, and they're talking about the prisons and stuff.
Oh,
So yeah, so
really?
involuntary labor. So damn it, I lost my point. What did you say before I said that? Freaking what was it? Damn it, I hate it when this happens. Prison, freaking slavery. What the hell was my point? I done freaking lost it, y'all.
Yeah, I don't. I know the thought I was having was, you know, when you started saying what you were saying, the whole idea of like really the only thing that changed in like the our Constitution is the use of slavery. It- the word slavery just turned into employee or
Yeah,
slave.
that that's my point. That is where I was going. The idea of how, but I had an illustration idea though. But yeah, how things haven't changed, you know. Um, oh, I know what it was. Like, okay, during slavery, everybody wasn't slaves. You know what I'm saying? It's
No, it
funny.
wasn't.
It's funny how when you look back in history, the way they teach it to you, it makes it seems like all white people
That
was
was
slave masters and all
mm,
black people was slaves. Like even no matter what, that was not the case. Nowhere close. So
well. I mean, when you really look at when you really find the real history, and one of the reasons why, uh, th- like reparations won't happen is because everybody has like it. Well, not every person, but every people has been enslaved. It doesn't matter what your background is. At some point, your people was a slave, except for the ones who were at the top, and they did the enslaving, and it didn't matter the color because, like, the same time when black people was enslaved, white people was enslaved. As a matter of fact, here in America, the first people to be enslaved were white people.
yeah, so what I'm saying is things haven't changed. So it's like today the states
But
voting about slavery in the prisons. So it's kind of like a certain percentage, and we have a large percentage of people who are in prison,
yeah,
relative to our population and relative to the world in general. Like we have a more than some countries in prison, and
yeah.
so a certain segment of society is still necessarily enslaved. You know what I'm saying? In the literal sense of the word, in the same sense of the word as in the past. You get what I'm saying?
That's
So that's my point of like it appearing to be different, but not.
well, yeah. I mean, they gave you a different vision of of what freedom was, and like they were like I mean, when you really think about it, like there was times when the people when the slaves were able to, let's say on the weekend, they were able to go, into town or go to, like, they had a section where, the slaves might hang out. They might go over to a different farm and visit family or friends that's in the thing. So it's not like they were, like just couldn't, like they was like like they weren't in prison, but they were enslaved. They could still, during that time, they could move around and do stuff, but they definitely had to perform at work. They had to get up and go to work, and when at dawn, and work until whenever they say it's time to end work. But that's like, but that's the misconceptions I think a lot of people had about those times, is that, like, shoot, they were living like some of them even had families within the plantation, was mothers, children, and this, that, and the third. So like they were living like families. It's just that they, this is what their employment. This is how they fed their family.
And
You know,
it's the other part of it is like, it was perfectly acceptable. This was perfectly acceptable, just like prison is
just
today. Like,
just like just like how life is there. Because I know you're centering it more around the prison aspect. I'm looking at it totality, like in totality. Even outside of the prison aspect, just like it's accepted today to get up and go to work, you know, in the morning, or even if it's in the evening, depending on what kind of job you have. Just the fact that you getting up and you going to this place to work, it was a identical thing. Because I mean, let's just say you
yeah, because if you don't go to work, how you going? You gonna be homeless, or you gonna be cold, freezing. You going not gonna have food. Like, you literally have to go.
yeah,
You have to go to work. You literally have to go. And in America, you have to go even if you're sick. You have to go.
yeah,
So I get it. I get it, the comparison. And then it's the debt slavery, because, you're in debt. So that's the reason why you have to go to work, to pay off your debt that you are perpetually in, like sharecropping.
yeah. Because I mean, and you gotta think it's probably even might be even worse, because I mean, you trying to back then it probably wasn't even trying to keep the lights on, or so they didn't have lights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's mostly trying to feed yourself and your family, uh be able to keep your spot at the farm, or like to say, you if you live on the plantation grounds, just getting up and performing good is what allowed you to have that home you live in, um
Right.
whether you built it or not.
Right. Because you had people out there in the bush probably didn't have nothing, like, and was over there stealing off the plantation to get something to eat and shit.
I was watching something earlier. It was like it was a Georgetown. I'm gonna look it up again or whatever, but it was something where they have people that come and speak, and the way they was talking is like the enslaved people from the north, before you knew it, because of like how popular the cotton was back in the day, and they coming down to the south, to Louisiana, Mississippi, whatever. So the enslaved people moved from the north down to the south, and that's what doubled the the production of cotton during that period. And because I was kind of in and out, I was dealing with my load at the time, but just to hear that part tripped me out, because you mean the slave moved by themselves, or what I'm saying, was it the slave masters sent them down? Like, what was the scenario in that? Like, they had the ability to leave and go wherever they wanted.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the choice to choose your. I never heard that before, and But anyways, it's kind of sounds like the choice that like you get to choose your slave master, right? So it's like the jobs. It's like the jobs are the same way. It's like, you know, you 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 can leave. You can leave this job, but you're just gonna have to go to another slave master.
Well, I mean, that's always been the case, because I mean, if you really think about it, even when they talk about the stories of the Underground Railroad, and you getting away from the South, and they send you up north, maybe even to Canada. I mean, you still pretty much going through the same thing. You just not in the South no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're still going through the whole, what we call enslavement. You go and find some work so that you can be able to take care of your family, give them a place to live. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, before we move on, I just want to make sure that we don't belittle the experiences that these people went through, the ones that were in chattel slavery. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're property, then your autonomy is all the way out the door. Like you can't even have no nothing having to do with your own body. You are owned by someone else. So whatever you say or feel or however the fuck, at the end of the day, like you're my property. Like in Django, he says, I can do with my property whatever I so desire. And
Well,
that was the case.
well, and I think some people think that that's because I mean, I guess the difference is that because the only thing about chattel or cattle slavery is that it's movable. It's movable property. You can, make a human being a transportable commodity, and that's, I guess, it's maybe you have more of a right to do it yourself. And I'm not belittling it at all. I'm just trying to bring the clarity so that people even, they can realize, like, either stop talking shit about people who was enslaved, or, like maybe do something different if you claim not to be somebody who will be enslaved.
And I want to, before we move on, I want to go back to one of the comments that you made about the reparations. I think there's a specific argument for specific people to be owed reparations, and it's multiples. Like, because you could talk about the Haitians, specifically. You could talk about people in this, black folks in the South, and especially because these people helped build the riches. Like I was saying in the other show, I saw pictures of they were showing Miami, and they were saying that it was a large Haitian population there, and that Miami was beautiful or whatever. It was up to date, and with streets and buildings and stuff. And I think about how Haiti looks, and it's like Hispaniola was the most profitable colony that they had. Like that shit built Europe, and it built the Americas. Like they still have that money.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I've heard a lot of great arguments, but I'm just saying, like, legally, because I mean, like, I think that there's like really more on the table than reparations, because I mean, for the especially when we're talking about black people, because we're indigenous to this land, it's more so the reclamation and restitution instead of reparations, because like, we can repair ourselves as long as we get our shit back.
Yeah,
I mean,
I feel like you could call it whatever the hell you like, and then it doesn't even necessarily have to be a check. It needs to be something.
when you got the richest country in the world that provided for the entire world, at one point we was the producers for, like, everybody looked to us always because of how abundant, like, this is the land of milk and honey. So,
Man,
like, if you just get to the point to where you have your land back, you don't need nobody to give you nothing, because they can only give you money from your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
because it was, I get what you're saying. Because but they stole it from you up jump. I think a good way to frame this, a good way for people to understand, is when you look at the commodities. Because you're talking about commodities, we're talking about commodities. Sugar, coffee, bananas,
Corn.
If you look at that, and you look at the history of that, and the who produced it, and like what impact it had, how much money they made off of it, that's when you start seeing the picture and understanding what the hell happened. You know what I'm saying? This was a business from jump. So what people seem to forget is that it was a business. It's all about the money.
Yeah. No, it definitely
Profit.
was. Because I mean, like, I mean, I understand it. I understand it. Like, the whole war thing. Like, wars aren't. You can blame it on religion and this, that, and the other, but it's usually
money.
More so about resources. Yes.
It's money. Period. Every time.
Yeah. So I mean, because I mean, at one point they were saying that like they were taking over places in the name of Christ, in the name of the church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was, what I'm saying, like,
Money.
yeah, it was all about the money. So it's not about saving people's lives
Soul.
or that. So that's bullshit. It was all about being able to build up on resources, and because like Europe doesn't really produce much of anything. I don't know if I don't know what like the Europe produces, but it was more I guess you could say like they had more of a reason like to go and plunder and steal from different places because they didn't have anything. Like,
And the other part of this is if you owned a business and you could get people to work for you and you didn't have to pay them shit, how much profit would you be making? Oh my God. That's your biggest expense besides materials, raw materials or whatever you need. There's a term for that. It's direct operating expense. Other than your direct operating expenses, your labor is your biggest freaking bill. So no labor means profit out the wazoo.
oh man, y'all, no, they look they because I mean I guess to some extent they did get like people were getting compensated to some extent. And it was very little because I mean if you think like they did eat, they did have a place to live. So I mean
That's the definition of minimum wage. Like, what's the least I can get them to keep them alive so they can keep coming to work tomorrow?
Exactly. And see, even during today, like for you to still, like for them to argue over, like that's really slavery when they're talking about minimum wage, like because you're living below the, like you no one can go like live on their own with a minimum wage job.
Nope. You can't pay no bills off of that unless you got 2 of those or 3 of those minimum wage jobs.
You probably need about at least 3, but then you don't have a life because like you working 8 hours at 3 different jobs. That's 24 hours a day. So I mean, even if you tried that, like you could do a 2 full-time jobs and 1 part-time, and you can still get at least like
3 or 4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit. I mean,
that ain't no life at all.
I was like, what's the point in living? I like, I'm spoiled.
And
what I'm
so,
saying?
but you can't laugh at that because it's people out there, and that's what they're thinking. Why am I even here?
Well, I mean, I always hope that because I mean, I'm not because of course, I mean, I was super young. Yeah, I had some, minimum wage job. Well, I was in high school, but however, hopefully this is inspires somebody to, do more. Because I mean, you don't get more unless because even if it's down to your thoughts, because I mean, everything is not based on, your action, your movement, the sweat of your brow. Like some of these things really can change with your mindset. And that's where it changes first. But you will have to make some moves to make it actually manifest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
let me play this video right here. This is a short clip of about the Queen.
They did that by colonizing land. In 2022, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II became the first British monarch to celebrate a Platinum Jubilee. The celebrations took place over a 4-day bank holiday. Millions of Brits partook in street parties and people around the world joined in on the celebrations. But is celebrating the British monarch harmless fun, or does it normalize the monarchy's long history of colonialism? And is it a celebration of British imperialism? Here are 4 ways in which the British royal family has benefited from colonialism. They have historically benefited from the enslavement of human beings. In 1562, John Hawkins was the first Englishman to include African people in his cargo. He traded these people for ginger and sugar. On his next voyage in 1564, Queen Elizabeth I funded a vessel for his journey. The British East India Company was formed in 1600 to exploit trade with Southeast Asia. They did that by colonizing land and exploiting people through the transatlantic slave trade. The figure who signed the Royal Charter allowing this all to happen was also Elizabeth I. Between 1690 and 1807, an estimated 6 million Africans were transported from Africa to the Americas on British or Anglo-American ships. The royal family and the British Parliament protected the trade. After Elizabeth I's death, the Royal African Company was established in 1660 by the Duke of York. The company transported more than 187,000 slaves who were often branded DY for the Duke of York. It's difficult to say how much the royals benefited from slavery, but many say it funded the entire British treasury. And it's safe to say that much of the monarch's significance, power, and wealth stems from the enslavement of Africans. Lucy Worsley, the chief curator of Royal Historic Palaces, says that all royal palaces from the 17th century have an element of money which is derived from slavery, including Kensington Palace and Hampton Court. The royal family was built on a legacy of stolen land, goods, and atrocities. Queen Elizabeth II's largest diamond, the Kohinoor, was stolen from a 10-year-old prince in India along with his land in the 19th century.
Damn.
It was transferred to Queen Mary in 1911 and was handed down to the current queen. Both India and Pakistan have asked for the diamond's return, but it's still very much owned by the crown. In India, between the 1700s and mid-20th century, an estimated $45 trillion was stolen by the British under the vestiges of the crown. Famines which occurred as a result of Britain's non-intervention policy led to the death of more than 30 million Indians. In 1947, Lord Mountbatten, a royal and the Viceroy of India, decided he wanted to get Britain out of India quickly. The decision to carve up a country led to 15 million people being displaced and between 1 and 2 million people dying. Of course, this is just India. At its peak, Britain had colonized 25% of the world's surface. From the Mau Mau massacre in Kenya to concentration camps in South Africa, Britain, under the vestiges of the crown, has a long and bloody history of colonial atrocities, and the royals have historically been at the center of them. The prestige of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is an organization of 52 independent member states. What it actually is a collection of former British colonies and Rwanda and Mozambique. The Commonwealth originated after World War II when much of India and Africa was becoming independent. The Commonwealth claims that it is an association of sovereign nations working towards shared goals of prosperity, democracy, and peace. But critics say that the association promotes neocolonialism through free trade agreements, which favor more developed economies. British companies own more than $1 trillion of Africa's key resources. The Queen is the head of the Commonwealth, and Charles has been appointed her successor, which allows the British monarchy to remain in a position of international privilege and go on tours of Commonwealth countries. But that's not all. In 2022, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II became the first British monarch to celebrate a Platinum Jubilee. The celebrations took place over...
What do you think? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I mean,
it was a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. I don't.
They said trillions of dollars. They said maybe the whole British, damn it, the bank, whatever they said, the whole treasury could possibly have been like, that's money that they got doing what they did, They talked about India and how freaking just robbed them, literally, just took money, just literally just, yeah, this mine right here, yeah. Do something about it. They talked about the diamond. A lot of people are talking about that. It's pouncing around the internet because they're like, the countries are like, okay, the queen is dead. Can y'all give us the diamond back? Like, enough already.
Yeah, but I mean, you just got to think about like all of the things that they took, like, because it's not just the land and the control of the people and this that, and the other. It's also like some of these countries, especially I know in Africa, like shoot, I know they got a bunch of stuff from here in America, but things that has been talked about is like some of the stuff that's in their museums that came from some of these African countries, the art, the different things like that.
And they were stolen. It wasn't a gift.
Yeah, it was stolen stuff. And then like, there's been African countries, it's like, okay, you know what, this was belongs to my family. Like, okay, they have a good relationship now. Look, let me buy this thing back from you. And it's like, well, no, it's priceless. It's like, okay, well, give it back to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, okay, it's priceless. Great. give me back my family stuff.
You know that the museums, a lot of those major museums, we was talking about that in our class, and it's literally like those museums will be empty, bro, because like most of that stuff is stolen stuff. In the main big huge museums, I don't want to say the names. That stuff is stolen stuff, bro. And
Yeah.
they can't just say this is mine. Like they know it was stolen. And it still happens with art and shit today because it's the black market where somebody stole it and then they sell it on the black market and then it shows up in the museum. It gets donated to the museum. Wait a minute. We don't give a damn how y'all got it. This whoever the fuck stole it, that's stolen property. That's my shit.
Yeah.
Give me my shit. You can't just
Yeah,
put my
it's kind
car.
of like how it was in Black Panther,
Yeah.
or you know, it's like, yeah, this is blah blah blah. It's like, oh, okay, and you know, it's like,
Nah, this my shit. It's mine.
yeah,
Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's crazy, 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 crazy. What, you got to go to war with them and fight them for them to give you your shit back? They
the
like,
same way. Yeah, they saying you got to do me like I did you in order to get this.
you're gonna have to take this back.
Yeah,
So, but
and
then
it's kind of like I wish, and it's kind of like with that tone, I wish a mother would. You know what I'm saying?
right, and you know that's what's gonna happen. You try to break it to one of the museums, they coming in your coming, they coming for your ass. Even if you get away, they coming. Let me read this one. It says Queen Elizabeth II has died. Oppressed people worldwide will remember her for shamelessly living off the wealth her family reaped from the profits of slavery on the backs of her subjects across the British Empire and the taxes of workers in the UK.
Yeah. Did you have this last night?
I had some stuff. I did have some of this stuff because the internet was already going crazy. I didn't want to, but it was a lot of them that's really funny to me. So, but I didn't want to. It was too soon. I wanted to give it a little bit of time. Like she had just died and shit like that.
Well, yeah, it's too soon. It might be too soon, but I ain't gonna lie. Like, you know, I was listening to Blue Pill earlier today, and that's what kind of shifted my. I was like, you know, it would just kind of reminded me of, you know, what, you know, those things that really happened, because he said R.I.P. and he's like, you know, somebody that was there was like, really, R.I.P. He said, yeah, rest in piss. You know what I'm saying? So, because I mean, like, when you really, like, if you really give it a thought, because I mean, most people look at, oh wow, the queen and this and that, you know, like it's some elegant thing, but like no, like your people had to suffer because of this person, as you know, and her family. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of the greed that they live with, made people of each land that they took over to suffer and have to give up a portion to the queen first before you can get any of it for yourself. Like,
Yeah. So how the hell, like the people is starving, but the queen got a freaking golden crown and riding it in a golden freaking car and living in a
so,
big ass palace and shit. Where's this money coming from? She
yeah,
ain't
I
got
mean,
no job.
say, bro, you ever see that carriage that she had
Yeah.
that's made of gold and something, like it was worth probably $1 billion by itself.
All of that stuff. The chair she sits in, all of that shit. Let me read this. It says, "This is one of those fascinating times when you see the difference between people who think of monarchs and colonialism as part of some fantasy world like Disney stories, and those who know the evil of it and whose parents can talk vividly about cruelty and lasting impact."
So there are is I mean, there's a lot of people with that same kind of sentiment, like that's not fooled by, you know, like I said, because I mean, we learn a lot about that kind of stuff from Disney stories, and like it's like, oh, so great, and so, you know, the prince and the princess and the all these, you know, all this shit, all these people live on the backs of someone else.
Yeah, let me read this one. Oh shit, let me go back. Um, It says the dead bodies of 500,000 Biafrans will not force the British to change her policies concerning the Nigerian civil war. The Biafra nation cannot be allowed to be, for we do not trust what they will become with their vast resources around the Russians or French. So this is old. It was like, this was Harold Wilson, UK British Prime Minister, served under Queen Elizabeth II. And talking about the Queen, basically, because it's like she had to okay all of this stuff. I think I have another one on this. Or is that it on the Queen? I think that's it. I wanted to hear. Oh, let's just start at the beginning. Let me play this one.
What do is invest 30,000 into stock, then buy a house and sell that house for a marginal profit. Then you want to invest in your Roth IRA.
Where do I get all this money to invest? I can barely pay my rent.
You don't have a dad?
Damn.
That's funny to me because it says rich white guy shares his keys to success.
That's a black dude, right?
Yeah, but he's saying, hypothetically, his from the point of view of rich white guy, that's what he's saying. And then, at the end, it's like, he's like, bro, I can't even pay my rent. Where am I get all this money to invest? Like, you ain't got no dad? It's like, because basically the rich white guy, he's like, this is how I did it. I mean, this is how everybody I know did it. Like, yeah, you can do it too. Like, but wait, I ain't got no dad to give me $10,000.
Yeah, I don't have any boots to pull up. Like I'm barefoot. You know what I'm saying? They ain't like pulling my. You know how to say pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Like, dude, I don't even have boots. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and it's the hustle culture that we live under. That's crazy, how they all, you could just be rich, you could just do it. Everybody could do it. Anybody could do it. You're just lazy if you don't do it. You can just go be rich. You don't even have to know stuff. You don't even have to be smart. You ain't got to go to school. None of that. You can just go. You just got to grind. You got to grind. Put in that work. You got to do it. You got to do it. You can't go to sleep. You just got off your job and you just want to go to sleep. Then you're unmotivated. You supposed to. That's when you really supposed to kick in and go to work. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's crazy to me when I hear them talk, because it's like, well, then why are so many people struggling out here? If it's really that easy and all, they're all these, you telling me all these people are lazy?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you, because to me it seemed like, okay, if you're in a situation like that, like this is when family is really vital. Like, seeing how the Asians, come here, they do certain things with their fam, like the I'm gonna say Latinos, because whether it's Mexico or from South America, wherever they come from, like they work together and like become something where, like, a lot of families, that I've seen growing up, like they can't wait till they turn 17 or 18 so they can get out of the house and struggle just like, what I'm saying, just so they don't have to be listening to what somebody else has to say instead of focusing
or
if
they get to live there, they're like, you got to pay bills. It's crazy.
But it's a portion. I mean, that's fine. I mean,
that's better, but that's still not cool. I mean, if you want to give your kid an opportunity to get going in life, then making them pay bills is, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I know that they need to learn how to do it. You give them a little bill or something to pay so they can learn how to deal with it. But like making them go half on the light bill or the rent or something like that, I don't like that. I see a lot of families do that.
I'd rather see them go half than to go whole on something, and they struggling, mama struggling.
It's
like,
just stupid.
With it, everybody's struggling instead of everybody coming together and putting what they can to pay the bills and hey, let's come up with actually come up with a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole thing, so that everybody can end up better. Like that's
and I agree with you. I'm just saying I wouldn't charge my kid none of that.
yeah, but I mean, but you ain't doing bad. You okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about what like there's families like bro don't even make half of what you make. The mom and the whole lot they whole the kids' whole childhood they've been like struggling, like some of them even using their kids' name to be able to have lights. Like bro,
Yeah, I understand. I know the struggle. But I think that within our culture, we got a problem with this particular topic because you can't. I work at the restaurant. I see folks they don't want to even share appetizer with their family. Like, why'd you even go out to eat with them? Like, you're gonna order an appetizer and you're just gonna eat it all to yourself. And you like, make sure you put that appetizer on my bill. Yeah, and I'm not paying for nothing else at this table.
wow.
So
Yeah.
that's the personality and that's the mindset. So if you're thinking like that, then yeah, you finna go at this on your own and you finna struggle.
Well, I mean, but I think people with that mindset deserves to be on their own. But I'm talking about for those who's like, all right, like this is really not like this is not the best situation, but I can see that we can make something out of this. All right, because shoot, I've seen like what they was in high school, like this girl, she was in high school living with her mama. She was working and she didn't have any kids yet. So I mean, shoot, they end up doing pretty good. So if they would have continued that instead of kind of like, oh well, because I mean, shit, her mama even let her smoke pot in the house. Like mama smoked pot, she smoked pot. They would, like they had a decent little thing going. But I think it's just that when it comes to like black women, it's just this whole like it becomes something like though.
And that mindset is the reason why the wealth in the community can't grow, because how you grow wealth is by having like a stable household, having like a mom and a dad or two parents, having two incomes, having like savings and investments and shit, working together with a team, uncle, auntie, you know what I'm saying, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, whatever. All of us kind of like got a family unit thing going.
Yeah. I mean, it should like it to me. It would be like a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? Like something's got to give. Like okay, look, this something's got to kick in where it's like, all right, you know what? This has not been favorable to us doing it this way. What do we need to do? Like, what am I doing wrong? So I can change it and do some rights that'll, progress so that this generation, because you can change, like these two generations can change at one time. Like,
and we're so quick to get a divorce. We're so quick to split up and just start over. We're just like, fuck it. We're just going to throw away 20 years of our life and just start over. Fuck it.
Yeah. That's true. Yep. That happens more often than you know. And well, of course not that you don't know, but yeah, I mean that changes the whole dynamic of like if you had any real plans, like if you're married and you didn't have any plans, then something's wrong. Because I mean you had something to really get married for. You wanted to be able to buy a home, have children, be able to retire certain kind of way or whatever.
All that's out the window once you break up, once y'all split up and go y'all ways. Now you gotta maybe one of y'all never really was, man, let's not go
on
there
board.
anyways.
Yeah. I mean, no, I mean shit. I mean that happens too. Like because I'm gonna tell you, like a lot of people live in fantasy land thinking that the world just just unfolds and I don't know if they think because of the person that they're with is the reason why things hadn't worked out right for them. Not usually it's because of you.
Yeah. What's the common denominator? That's what I say. Like people say, they everywhere I go, they mess up my order. It's like everywhere I go, my order just be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. If you tell me that story, I'm not gonna be like, oh, McDonald's
I'm
is
not gonna
tripping.
feel. Yeah,
And
I'm not feeling sorry for you at
Whataburger
all
is
because
tripping. I'm
yeah,
thinking it's you.
exactly.
It has to be you. If everywhere you go you order wrong, I mean everybody is just imbeciles. The rest of the world is just dumb and they can't freaking get your order right everywhere you go. Okay.
Because it's really about the. I mean, because I'm heavy on the law of attraction. You're the one generating those actions around you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Without a doubt.
yeah.
Without a
So
doubt. You're projecting it. You're creating this situation.
yeah.
So you need to figure out what you're doing and do something different and see what kind of results you get. You know, experiment a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
it's like not so like it's like they mess up my order everywhere I go. So what? Now you just don't go nowhere because if I get bad service somewhere, really horrible service, like it seems like the people are thrown off. You know, I don't go back.
Yeah, but no, I mean, so those people that's just like, all right, you know what? I ain't going to no other restaurant. I'm just gonna eat at home. Guess what? They start burning their own damn food at the house. You know, because it's just your bad energy. Like, I mean, like that's one of the things. Like, just like you said, the common denominator. You really have to, question. Okay, what you cannot look at anything outside of you because you are God. Every person is a God, and your guiding comes with your decisions making and your focus. You're God in a body. So if you're not utilizing your godhood properly, then okay, you need to go back and figure out what moves you've been making and figure out where the changes need to happen because everything that can happen will happen as long as you get your mind right first. That's the main thing. But
Let me play this.
And the 5% are usually the ones who are assassinated or shunned or discredited because they can see everything that's going on. And they would ruin it all for the 10%. So the reason why it's so easy to do that is because people are willing to be led. There's a philosophy that says 85% of the people on the planet are followers. 10% of the people on the planet are creators or leaders, and 5% of the people are observers. So when you got 85% of the people who are willing to follow, the 10% who are able to create something are going to capitalize off of that, and the 5% are usually the ones who are assassinated or shunned or discredited because they can see everything that's going on. And they would ruin it all for the 10%. So the reason why it's so easy to do that is because people are willing to be led.
So yeah, the idea the 5%ers, I didn't understand that for a long time. It took me a long time to understand the 5%ers, even though I had been hearing it since like the 80s. But I didn't get it until I don't know when, but I started to understand it a little bit. Let me read this caption. It says 5%, the poor righteous teachers. Another one, it says, with all respect, that paraphrase does a disservice. 85% are deaf, dumb, and blind. 10% to those who know better but capitalize off the 85%. And the 5% are the poor righteous teachers. The thing is, by the time the population is ready to listen to them, they have been assassinated. What you think?
I suppose. I mean, you think that the 10% that's all they try to do is use the 85%?
Well, it's a philosophy. It's a way of looking at the world. It's a way of like understanding the world. Like,
Cause I mean, cause I'm questioning myself because I guess I would kind of call myself falling somewhere in that percentile at some point, or cause. But I don't know. But I would say, I mean, yeah, I mean, fi- and then 5%. That seems like a big number of people to be like the teachers too. But
the poor righteous teachers, and it seems like the way the philosophy goes, those ones end up not having money because they chasing knowledge the whole time, so they don't have they tend to not have money. That's part of the philosophy. So then it's like the 10% are the ones that have money because they choose to take advantage of the fact that people are so easily manipulated, you know, and they take, that's the way it, that's how it goes.
yeah. So the 10% is also like pretty much the top 1% of people is included in that.
Probably. Right. Yeah, they probably wouldn't fall in that 5%.
No. Because they ain't teaching nobody shit. They want to keep all of the info that they do have to themselves.
Yeah, so that's interesting stuff. The stuff about the 5%ers. If y'all don't know about that stuff, look that stuff up. Let me play this right here. It's like 1 minute.
Ellos, mis abuelos, hacían ceremonia, compraba becerros,
They bought sheep, they bought deer.
Le hacía la ceremonia
They
a
made
la
a
lluvia.
ceremony for the rain.
Toda la noche cantaba.
All
toda
night
la
they
noche,
sang,
hasta que
all night
amanecía,
until
ya le daban de
sunrise.
comer
Then they gave
a la
food
lluvia.
to the rain.
Pero
But
ahorita como que ya
now it
se
seems
está
all this is
perdiendo ese
getting
todo.
lost.
Está perdiendo ese ya
It's all
todo.
being lost.
Por eso a veces
That's
ya
why
no quiere
sometimes it
llover porque
doesn't
es que
want to
tiene
rain
hambre.
because it is
Ya no
hungry.
quiere llover a veces.
Sometimes it doesn't want to rain.
Sí, antes
Yes,
hacía
before it
así.
was done like this.
Lo demás
Those who lived
que
before,
vivía antes, así hacía.
this is how they did
Y
it.
yo me acuerdo,
And I remember
todos nos arrimábamos.
we all came
Todos
together, everyone.
nos arrimábamos
We
todos
all
cuando
gathered
hacía
when
la
they did the
ceremonia de la
ceremony for
lluvia.
the rain.
Sí.
Yes.
Y se acabó
My
mi
father
papá,
and
se
mother
acabó mi
died,
mamá. Pero
but I won't
yo
leave
no
my
dejo mi
tradition whilst I'm
tradición
alive.
mientras que vivo. Ahí voy,
We keep going, we
enseñando a
continue to
mis
teach the grandsons and
mis
granddaughters,
nietos, mis nietas, mi familia
and my
todavía que
family
vive
that
a
is
otro.
still living.
Ahí estamos
Here we are,
luchando
striving
para vivir bien,
to live
para que
well,
no nos pase.
so nothing happens to us.
Siempre, todo el día, prendido abuelito fuego.
Keep the fire burning.
Diario está prendido abuelito fuego. Y le damos chocolate, le damos unas galletitas.
We give it chocolate, we give it cookies, we give it food.
Porque es persona
Because it's a
también.
person as well. What do you think about that?
Kind of sounds like what we were saying, like with like you trying to come together as a family. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how you benefit. You're passing on these. Like there's different things that would have happened a long time ago that just doesn't happen anymore. And I think that's what this is kind of going to, where it's like togetherness and bringing even if your resources is your muscle, your at least y'all doing that together, and life is not so hard, but it's a ceremony.
And then you do the rain dance,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whatever the ritual is, I'm sure you like take off your shoes and you get grounded. You're all in the dirt, you dance. It's all about the vibrations, right? It's all about the sentiments, the intentions, right? So then it's gonna cause good feelings for anybody that's involved in this. After it's over, you're gonna feel good. So that's really what it's about.
Yeah.
Right. And like you said, the togetherness, coming together. And the other part of that I feel is like respecting nature. like she said, it's a person. You know, it's alive.
Well, and I think that's the main thing. Like, cause like I said, I'm sure that there were, people and families had issues before, but like the more that they counted on each other, they didn't look at the other one as invaluable. Like they saw like when they're, you know, working in the fields together, growing food, and they see what kind of benefit they help bring to them. They don't disqualify them, just like, or it devalue them because you don't need them to supply your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like like I've seen families throw each other away so quick just because, okay, yeah, they can live on their own without the help of others. And it's just like, it's just insane, really. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm very proud of my family. Of course, we do have some, family issues or whatever, but for the most part, we come together, and no matter who, and there's some rich people, there's some middle class, there's some poor, all within my family, and it's like none of that really changes anything for anybody, because I mean, anybody needs anything, we all usually, we always come together and help whoever is in need. But
Yeah, that's what's
I
supposed
think
to
that,
be.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but I think that's what's lost in a lot of families. It's just that, you know, because one person have figured out they can go and live on their own, and they don't need each other, or like they angry about something that happened in the past, and now they just like, this person has no value to me. It's just crazy.
Facebook user says she a grandma. Yeah, mi abuela. It's mi abuela. Elliot says, peace to the guys. I'm tapping in. Peace, God.
Peace,
Um,
peace.
I'm glad you came because I wanted to because you asked me how much it cost for the show, and I don't know. I was just thinking about it. I was like, I don't know if I gave a good answer, man. And uh I started doing this on my phones, in a ring light. So the only thing I bought was one of those like phone stands with the light on it. Um from like Walmart or whatever. And I started the show like that. And that's all it was, because I already had the YouTube channel. Everybody has a YouTube channel if you can like YouTube videos and stuff. So yeah, I just did it on my phone and started posting videos to YouTube. That's how I started. So, but as time went on, like the phone, it sucks with editing, it sucks with the memory, you know. It had really good picture quality, I ain't gonna lie. I think it was better than my computer. So, but eventually I moved on to the computer, and then I didn't like the sound on the computer, so I had to get a mic. I didn't like the camera on the computer, so I had to get a camera. And then, and I had to buy the green screen, the lights, and I talked about this the subscription that I pay for and the software. So, but I think it's however much you want to spend. If you really want to do a show, just do it. Just start doing it and then see what happens. Because really for the longest I had been wanting to do a podcast show, and I was just trying to figure out how I wanted to do it, and I was trying to get it all together or whatever. But then one day I was like, man, I need to just do it, and I just jumped out there, and that's what I did, and fucking here we are. He said the great work is not free. Yeah, man. Shit. But like Pat will tell you, if you own your own business, you gotta take some L's, especially at the beginning.
But that's what pretty much anything.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to invest in yourself, and that's them L's that you're gonna take, especially when you don't know, because I'm running your own business, then can't nobody really tell you how to run it, So then you just you trial and error, and you learn as you go, and
Well, he's trying to get he's trying to get a mentor now.
I guess so. That's another part of it, right? I need a mentor. Freaking, they turned off the gas to freaking Germany. Let me see. Is this the one? I don't know if this is the
They
clip.
did that last week, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the clip. Let me play this.
Are lifted. Now, there are a lot of ins and outs here.
Wait, what'd you say?
Russia said indefinitely.
Yeah, indefinitely. Yeah. I think this explains it. I'm not sure because I don't remember watching this.
To try to help their citizens and help companies with all of these higher costs.
And if you're wondering, if you're seeing this news and you're like, well, why are Julie and Brian talking about this? Keep in mind, companies are global. They're multinational. They do a lot of business in the Eurozone and various parts over there. And if those businesses are being hurt in terms of profits, best believe it's going to be reflected in their overall financial statements and maybe their stock prices.
The energy crisis in Europe has been worsening. Russia has now turned off its supply of natural gas into the rest of Europe. And Russian officials say the Nord Stream pipeline will stay off until sanctions against Moscow are lifted. Now, there are a lot of ins and outs here. The bottom line is we have seen natural gas supply dwindle. We have seen prices spike. And now we are starting to see European nations really step in a big way to try to help their citizens and help companies.
Try to help their citizens, my fucking ass. If they really gave a fuck, then they would just lift the sanctions. These people finna freeze this winter, bro. Some people are gonna die.
Well, no, that's the whole plan. I mean, if you got common sense, you know, just like what you were just saying. Like, if they really gave a damn, they would lift the sanctions.
So
those are words that just came out of your mouth. So to some extent, you really know. I mean, you may not want to look at it the way that I'm looking at it, but like this is like purposely done.
So it's another squeeze. It's another part of the squeeze, right? Because we've been suffering too over here in the States, and they keep on saying the inflation is a result of the Ukraine war. Come on, man.
Say, bro. Did you see my post? Well, it was like I put it on my story on Facebook, and it was like, I forget the exact numbers, but you know, Ukraine gets 8 billion or whatever. Israel gets 3.3 trillion. Somebody got another number, and then Mississippi gets don't drink the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, bro, this administration is purposely, and like I think that was why, like one of the reasons why, because I mean, you know, there's proof that's showing different ways that they cheated that election. I don't know if you saw some of those things that came out, but there's proof now that you know, there was some things done that, because it was more so with the census and having the right amount of representatives for different states. It wasn't, you know, like the way that they mess with the numbers and, you know, other ways. You know, of course, you know, there's people that they should have taken from the voter rolls that's been dead for 10, 15 years or however long. They should just delete them, but no, they keep them on, and then somehow they end up becoming voters again. But either way, it's like they forced themselves to be in here so that they could do what they're doing right now.
Yeah. As far as the voting, I heard some stuff, but that was on the Republican side. There was like some freaking lady who wasn't even a official person who was letting these people in the building and shit. They got footage of this shit.
You must have been watching CNN.
You say CNN?
Yeah, I'm saying you must have been watching CNN, but I'm just saying I'm just most Democrats don't want to hear that truth. That they favorite politicians was robbing and cheating.
Yeah.
Which
Freaking.
most of them are known for.
Hold on, I got something. This one right here is a Malcolm X quote. It says, "You have to be careful." Hold on, let me go back. You have to be careful, very careful, introducing the truth to the black man who has never previously heard the truth about himself. The black brother is so brainwashed that he may even be repelled when he first hears the truth. The truth had to be dropped only a little bit at a time, and you had to wait a while to let it sink in before advancing the next step. Malcolm X.
Yeah, I think that's true for a lot of people, especially the older.
You breaking up?
Yeah, my headset died. I have a few minutes before it charge back up. But like, I think the truth is like a lot of the stuff is more acceptable these days. But when you really look at like, especially like the baby boomer class, a lot of them, like it's hard for them to accept, and it's just like, almost angry that saying like you're wasting your time trying, doing all this reading and learning shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it ain't about getting the money or this, that, and the other, then it's like pretty much a waste of time. I'm like, okay, some of us make money off of this knowledge, and not like selling it, but like just the use of it, but either way, I mean, I think that what Malcolm said is very true, and I'm sure the times in which he came up dealing with people then, like, it was very hard for them to believe that the just the real facts of what happened.
I think it's like that today, and maybe worse. Elliot says, "No cap. What about Queen Elizabeth? We talked about her earlier, pretty much the first half of the show. Yeah, we talked
Good
about
riddance.
that.
We say good riddance.
Check this out right here. It says the United States will soon drop out of the top 50 nations in terms of life expectancy. Every country above us has a public option for health insurance or a publicly funded healthcare system. Not some, not most, every single one. Life expectancy dropping out of the top 50 nations.
Yeah, I don't think it's just that. I mean, because they probably will, because there was a lot of people who took that take that medicine. Because I mean, even the people who have insurance are getting sick and staying sick all their life because of their belief in that system. Like, really, like, we should be smart enough to try more alternative measures, because it's just like it's not helping. It's not, we're not building anything great with the medical system that is operating, in mass.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot. I talked about that a long time yesterday. I think it was after you got off the show. I don't remember. Check this out. It says California man beheads his ex-girlfriend with a sword in the middle of the street.
The fuck?
Damn, imagine that.
This?
I don't have a date here. It had to be recent. It says California, but I don't know. Somewhere in California.
Man, you've been seeing all the robberies in California?
Yeah, where they're like going in the stores and just.
I seen that where they went to liquor stores and like filled up big sacks of stuff with liquor or whatever. But no, like they casually just walking up to cars. If there's a bag in the car that was left in there, crack, they break the window, grab it, and they gone.
That's crazy. I want to read some comments on this because I found it kind of funny, even though RIP to whatever, you know. I wonder, like, what the hell somebody got to do for you to want to cut their head off, man? Like, that's some real, like, personal ass, like, you're going to get their blood on you. That's going to be some gruesome shit to look at. I wouldn't want that memory in my head. So it says California man beheads his ex-girlfriend with a sword in the middle of the street. The comments, it says, this is Vlad TV posted this, so it's just a headline. Comments, it says, and they say chivalry is dead. Another comment, it says, some real life Game of Thrones shit the North remembers. Another one, another one, it says, who the F owns a sword? Another one says, what'd she do? That's what I'm. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that, like, that's the biggest question. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. What? Damn.
You was fucking his brother or something? Like,
yeah, man. Another one.
You fucked up the eggs again? Like,
yeah. What was it? You interrupted me watching the game or playing the game. You broke the PlayStation. What was it? Another comment. It says, head so good, had to keep it after the breakup.
Oh, damn. That's some wild shit right there.
Another comment. It says, bruh, real life did a MK fatality. Mortal Kombat fatality.
Well, yeah.
It says City Boys up 1.
Well, I guess it was a fatality, but that sounds more like a brutality.
Yeah. Another one says, dude thinks we're living in the Roman Empire era. That shit is crazy.
We are.
Facebook says, user says that vaccine. We got to be careful with this freaking topic. But yeah, freaking a lot of information is coming out. Oh, I know why they said that, because of life expectancy. A lot of people are saying that too.
That's what. Okay, I was trying to. I was being nice, but that was the whole thing. Like, yeah, that's one of the main reasons. There is that.
Yeah, that's kind of scary right there. But I think you know, desperation. I think that is just a fraction. I think it's more. Desperation, you know, depression, stress, freaking the hamster wheel. You know, I'm talking about other factors that's causing people to, you know, pass away before their time. The damn opiate epidemic. You know, people are already freaking depressed and sad. Freaking those pills make you feel real good. You know?
I guess. I mean, that's some of the stuff that's going on, but I mean, those are some of the factors that's been happening for a long time. So yeah, you know, we can definitely add that to it, but we just talking about all of a sudden dropping 50 spaces. Is that, you know what I'm saying? You just dropped 50 spaces for stuff that's already been happening for the last 50 years? No, it's something drastic, a drastic change that's gonna make that number change. Because I mean, right now, because I mean, all right, if you really look at it, all right, flu was already killing an average of 18,000 people a year. Now that COVID, now we're looking at 75,000. But that's, they're saying COVID. But you know, a lot of it, because a lot of the deaths were happening after people were getting the shots, but they won't admit that's, you know, the actual cause. But you know,
Well, all we know is the information is gonna come out. I saw a post that said, "Give yourself an award for making it through the greatest psyop in history," or something like that, for the unvaccinated people.
yeah, well, yeah, for the ones unvaxxed, because
And
if you took the vax, you didn't win. In most cases. I mean,
and
there's people that's still here that took it, but and I'm afraid, because they said that there was I prayed like for most people, like they got what they call it, the when they give you the dummy shots, what they call them, the placebo.
yeah,
They had a bunch of placebos going out, but there was also mixed with the real thing. So, and I think they purposely did placebos so that people will be like, "Oh, it's fine, it's no problem." And then, of course, the more shots you get, the more, chances you're taking that it actually being in your body.
and they talking about, if you go to the sperm banking, you unvax the unvaxxed sperm is worth more. There's a demand.
Look,
There's a demand for unvaxxed sperm.
They were saying that about giving blood, like in the beginning, like even in the beginning, they were when the shots first start coming out, they were like, no, unvaxxed blood is better than the vaxxed blood. And they're like, wait a minute, what? You mean tell me I can't donate blood no more? Nah, we don't want that shit. They knew this. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's certain key things that kept me from doing it, because it was times where I was like, I was scared, and I was like, didn't want to be the person that hurt my child or this, that, and the other. But I we made it through, and we doing good. It's just I don't know, man. Like, it was just certain things that just wouldn't allow me to do it, and I prayed, and I tried to tell as many people as I could, like, I don't know, I wouldn't do it. I don't think we should do it. And I'm like, if they did it, I'm like, hey, you did what you thought was best. Some people I told don't do it no more. Some people, what I'm saying, based on our relationship, but they tried to do the same thing exactly 100 years ago.
Curtis, let me read the comments. Curtis say what's up, and Elliot says, Pat, the ancestors had your back.
Amen. Amen.
And I kind of want to move on from this topic, because we're going to end up saying the wrong thing, and the damn YouTube gods are going to delete my whole channel.
Well, I mean, and I'm gonna tell you, a lot of the things have cleared up, because now you can speak on it more, because they're letting a lot of the stuff come out because of the stuff worldwide. Like I said, a lot of the stuff I'm hearing, like, of course you can go online. I mean, you can easily go to Pfizer, Moderna, CDC, and they are telling you the facts. So, like, anything that they're putting up there, they can't get mad at you because you're saying
it. Yeah. Yeah, just got to be careful.
Yeah. But nah, this you, bro. Where you want to go?
Fuck, I done lost it, because
I mean, but that's one of the reasons why I said it's probably good I don't have my own, because I've been shit. I probably wouldn't have no show.
Come to your house and knock on your door. Be like, hey, what's up with that stuff you were saying on the show? What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know about all that now.
Yeah, look at this photo right here. Y'all remember that movie, The Golden Child? Oh, shit, let me go back. The movie, The Golden Child. with Eddie Murphy. This is a picture of the little girl who was in the movie, and this is her grown up here with Eddie.
Oh,
The
that's the
golden,
girl.
the golden child. 33 years later. That movie really touched me, man. I was really touched by that movie, man. My dear sweet brother Numpsy.
No, shit.
Freaking, it really did something to me, man. The way he was following that bird, that part, the part where like she had passed away, but then they was like, as long as the sun still touch her body, you can bring her back. You know, that's some shit. And it's like the parts where he had to make it through the maze, and then he figured out the riddle that he just had to drink the water.
Yeah. What was it? I am the what was it? Damn.
Y'all remember that movie? How did it make y'all feel?
I remember. Yeah, hell yeah, I remember that movie. I remember I was a kid when I first saw it, but it was I want the nine. You know.
Yeah, man. I was a kid too. The movie was good, man. It was really good. And it struck me. It had that, and then the monster at the end, like he had to fight this thing, man. He had this special sword that he had to use to slay. It was like slaying a dragon. The movie was so cool.
Yeah.
The part where the little one, they was trying to make him eat stuff with blood in it and shit, and he was just eating this plant. It kind of looked like a marijuana leaves to me, and he was just eating these leaves and basically fasting and meditating and surviving off of that. And they know he's got to eat. It's like he's hungry. They're trying to put blood in his food and shit to like take away his power and shit. That shit crazy, man. It makes me think about The Shining, because in The Shining, the boy, he had magical powers. He had powers or whatever, and it was like the demons wanted him for that because they wanted to be able to use his power.
Yeah, they were trying to take away his purity, his you know, like I don't know what kind of blood it was. It was some evil person's blood, but it was mainly trying to steal his purity.
Yeah. So then they could, because that was his defense, and they couldn't touch him, they couldn't attack him, they couldn't hurt him in any way. So, but if they could get him to eat that blood, something untainted and unclean, then they could attack him.
You remember they made like some little piece of paper dance.
Yeah. It was a can. It was like a soda can that he did.
Yeah, can. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. So you think about the power, and I think about that, and I think about like it's like not really magic. It's more like these people are just so in tune with the universe. Curtis says, you know that girl in the golden knife? I don't know that. Elliot says Stanley was a beast. Who was Stanley in the movie? I can't remember. I cannot remember. I ain't seen that shit in years and years and years.
You know, for whatever reason, like last weekend, I watched the Eddie Murphy movie Trading Places. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching that, and like, cause I mean, under a different eye, because you know that was like Trading Places is pretty much what happened with us and the powers that be at the moment right now.
That movie is a trip because it's like I can just switch these guys, and that shows that, like, you know, how the system is set up, because they're like, man, we could just flip these two guys and ruin this guy's life and make him. He's like, it's not a real thing. It's like race is a social construct, like being poor and shit. Elliot says magic is real, and Stanley was the director. Oh, okay. Let's go back to this. Magic is real. What say you, Pat?
No, I mean, I say it is, but I mean, I guess to what extent are you saying? Like, if you know, I guess let's look at what the definition of magic is. Yeah,
Yeah, we talked about it a lot when we talked about the witches and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, tapping into nature. Magic tricks are fake, but knowing the elements and knowing science basically is real. I have a video I want to play, but I don't want to lose y'all. Queen Elizabeth. Everybody wants to keep talking about that.
It's only so much you can talk about the evil.
Check this out right here. Oh shit. Houston homicides year to date. 182 in 2019, 235 in 2020, 318 in 2021, and 309 in 2022. So, but basically these are low numbers for homicides. So
you saying those are low numbers?
Yes, because let me read the caption. It says, this is ABC 13 posted this. Mayor Sylvester Turner claps back with statistics after a pastor claims Houston is one of, if not the most dangerous cities in America at a sermon. So they're proud of these statistics. Basically, but the way, of course, us looking at it, like one homicide is too many, right? And this is Houston. So 309 people, that could have been somebody I knew or somebody that was at the grocery store with or something. Somebody I went to the rodeo, rode the ride with. So let me read some comments. It says, so sad that Houston is proud of these statistics.
Yeah. Really
Another comment, it says, ain't no way it's going down. Crime is crazy in Houston. Another comment, it's not a clapback. It says, it's not a clapback if the stats are in agreement with what the pastor is preaching, praying for our city.
But see, what happened since 2019 that made crime or murders, homicides go up that much? Because this is specifically homicides, not other crimes. So I'm just wondering, like, what changed? Cause from 2019, is making it 182. I wonder what it was in 2018.
Yeah, they should have put that stat up. Elliot says magic versus magic, spelled with a K. And I made some segments, bro. Go back and check them out. One of them is catching some steam too. People are watching it. The one is feminine. What was it? Feminist witch feminism. And then there's another one. It's like witch magic. And because we talked about it, and because I was reading the magazine, and it's a bunch of stuff. Y'all go check those segments out. It's on the main channel.
I think that was a show when I was talking about the definition of farmer.
Yeah. Y'all go back and check that out. I made clips of that, so it's easy to watch. They're in bits and pieces. They're 20-minute, 15-minute videos. It's like witch something. We talked about witches for like 2 hours, and all of that stuff came up. Elliot says, turning lead into gold involves the mind. Yep. And this one, he says, pastors are 501c3, so I can't take them serious. Telling you, man. I'm telling you. If anybody robbing the hood,
For real. And that's a certain.
not, and don't even have to pay taxes. Talk about robbing the bank, bruh. The building fund. What's up with the building fund, man? The building's still the same, bruh. we got to put away for that building fund.
Not even one doorknob been changed.
Come on, man. I'm already paying my tithes, man. I got to pay the building fund too, man. Damn.
How many damn offerings y'all gotten this something?
Yeah, didn't that offering come around already?
Yeah, I did not offer something about 20 minutes ago.
Man, the church. Check this out. It says Princeton University to cover all college costs for students from families earning less than $100,000 annually. So that's Princeton University. So that's kind of like, they did the forgive student debt thing. So this is the Princeton College trying to do their part. Cover the cost for students from families earning less than $100K. But Princeton is expensive as hell to get in. I don't know. The families making less than $100K is probably a real small number. Elliot say tax free. I said that. He said the Vatican. He says that's why we speak of the Queen. What? Because of the church? Let me read the caption. It says, one of the most prestigious Ivy League schools in the country is taking a big step to offer financial support for students from lower income families. Princeton University just announced its latest plans. It was just confirmed that Princeton University plans to cover all college costs for students from families earning less than $100K a year. New York Post reports an unexpected and large expansion of its existing financial aid policies. Princeton's University has just announced that all students from families who earn less than $100K annually will have their entire college costs covered, meaning they will pay nothing for school tuition, room, and board. The updated financial aid policies officially take effect for the fall Princeton University undergrads in the fall 2023 semester. University officials estimate that underneath the new policy, 1,500 students will receive the financial aid. It should also be noted that 83% of recent Princeton students graduated without any college debt. Princeton University President Christopher L. Escobar released a statement about the inspiring changes to the school and how commitment to the students to the top priority. One of Princeton's defining values is our commitment to ensure that talented students from all backgrounds can not only afford a Princeton education, but can flourish on our campus and in the world beyond. These improvements to our aid packages, made possible by the sustained generosity of our alumni and friends, will enhance the experience of students during their time at Princeton and their choices and impact after graduate.
So you probably got to keep at least a 3.0 and have at least 18 to 21 hours of classes every semester.
Yeah.
But qualifying for it, I mean, I don't know.
Facebook.
It's the same qualifications as usual.
Probably. I say it's a good thing on its face. It's a good thing on its face, but who knows? Facebook user says, that's the open carry law. No permit needed to pack a gun in Houston. Yeah, I wonder how that's affecting homicides right now.
No. That saves lives.
Okay.
I think some people twist it and look at it differently because they're talking about Houston. Now, I don't know, who's running Houston, but we're talking about nobody really wants to talk about Detroit or the Indiana, Illinois, Chicago and Gary and all these different places. But a lot of them, some of these places that your chances are higher of getting picked off if the criminal believes you don't have a way of protecting yourself. So I think they need to look at a different way of trying to say that just because everybody got guns is the reason why there's more murder. No, it's something else. It's like people starving, people, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like that. I don't see that. They need a better argument than that.
I want to take a quick break, so I want to play a video. Democracy Now! I'm gonna come right back probably and just talk about the.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Southern California is bracing for torrential rainfall as Tropical Storm Kay moves into the region, packing winds of up to 70 miles an hour. The storm expected to bring up to a year's worth of precipitation, but instead of relief from a historic drought, officials are warning of dangerous flash floods and high winds that could whip up raging wildfires. Over the past week, the western U.S. has broken nearly 1,000 temperature records for September, with excessive heat alerts affecting some 42 million people. In China, forecasters predict above average temperatures will continue through the end of the month after China recorded its hottest August on record. In Europe, officials say this summer ranked as the hottest on record, surpassing the previous record set just last year. Meanwhile, researchers in Greenland say the Arctic territory experienced its largest September melt event on record, one typically only seen during peak summer months. This comes after a new report from Climate Central found rising sea levels could flood more than 4.4 million acres of U.S. coastline by mid-century, with some 650,000 privately held properties set to fall below tidal boundaries. Hundreds of climate protesters rallied in Washington, D.C. Thursday to demand lawmakers reject changes to how the federal government grants permits for oil and gas projects. The activists say the proposed reforms would weaken environmental laws, limit court challenges to oil and gas projects, and clear the way for new pipelines, including the proposed Mountain Valley frack gas pipeline in West Virginia. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he agreed to the permitting reforms to win the support of West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin for the Inflation Reduction Act, which President Biden has called the biggest step forward on climate ever. On Thursday, the White House said it supports the permitting reforms. Meanwhile, Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders took to the Senate floor to condemn what he called Senator Manchin's dirty side deal.
We can listen to the fossil fuel industry and the politicians they pay, who are spending huge amounts of money on lobbying and campaign contributions to pass this dirty side deal. Or we can listen to the scientists and the environmental community who are telling us loudly and clearly to reject this side deal and eliminate the $15 billion in tax breaks and subsidies Congress is already providing to big oil and gas companies each and every year.
Ukraine's government says it's made significant progress in a counteroffensive aimed at retaking ground seized by Russia. On Thursday, President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukrainian forces had liberated more than 1,000 square kilometers of territory since the start of September. Zelensky made the remarks from Kyiv Thursday evening after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken pledged to support Ukraine for, quote, as long as it takes. Blinken was in Ukraine's capital on an unannounced visit where he touted the latest tranche of U.S. military aid to Ukraine, nearly $2.7 billion.
We also notified our Congress of our intent to provide Ukraine with an additional $1 billion in what we call foreign military financing. This is for longer-term acquisition of...
Another $1 billion for Ukraine?
Is that what he said?
That's what he said. Antony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State. We want to give another $1 billion.
Fuck Mississippi.
What's that?
I said, and if Mississippi.
Yeah, fuck they water. Mostly black people anyway.
systems. We're also providing $1 billion additional dollars in financing for our European allies and partners who've been doing so much to support Ukraine.
On Monday, a coalition of peace activists will kick off a nationwide week of action on Ukraine, demanding a ceasefire and diplomatic solutions to the crisis. Code Pink co-founder Medea Benjamin said in a statement, the White House and Congress are fueling this war with a steady stream of weapons instead of pushing for talks to end the conflict. That's why we, the people, have to rise up with a demand of negotiations, not escalation, she said. Elizabeth II, the Queen of the United Kingdom and the British Commonwealth, died Thursday at the age of 96. Elizabeth held the British throne for 7 decades, second only to Louis XIV of France as the longest reigning monarch in history. Her son Charles has now become Britain's new king, taking the name of King Charles III. The Queen's death prompted tributes from British allies across the globe, including President Biden, while former British colonies have used the occasion to call on the UK to make amends for colonial crimes. We'll have more on the life and legacy of Elizabeth II after Headline. Britain's new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, said Thursday she's lifting a moratorium on hydraulic fracturing, that's fracking, which has been in effect since 2019. Truss said it's part of a larger plan to increase domestic oil and gas development aimed at lowering energy costs across the UK.
We will end the moratorium on extracting our huge reserves of shale, which could get gas flowing as soon as 6 months, where there is local support for it.
The plan was swiftly condemned by environmentalists, climate campaigners, and some opposition members of parliament. The civil disobedience group Extinction Rebellion promised more confrontational actions like blockades. One activist told The Guardian, we'll pull out all the stops. This time we won't settle for a moratorium either. We're just going to keep on hammering this until we get the proper ban on fracking, they said. South Carolina's Senate has failed to pass a total ban on abortion that would have prohibited the procedure without exceptions for rape or incest. But lawmakers approved more restrictions to its existing state law, which bans abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy. That law is currently blocked by the South Carolina Supreme Court due to ongoing litigation. The South Carolina Senate has proposed reducing the time rape and incest survivors have to seek an abortion from 20 to 12 weeks. In related news, the Michigan Supreme Court's allowing voters to decide in November whether to enshrine abortion rights to the state constitution. The ballot initiative gathered over 700,000 signatures in support. This comes after a judge Wednesday struck down a 1931 Michigan anti-abortion law that prohibited the procedure unless the pregnant person's life was at risk. The Justice Department said Thursday it will appeal a federal judge's decision to appoint a special master to review whether the FBI properly seized documents from Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The appeal comes after U.S. District Court Judge Aileen Cannon ordered the Justice Department to halt its review of thousands of classified documents recovered by agents executing a search warrant on Trump's home on August 8th. Many of the documents were marked top secret. Judge Cannon was nominated to the U.S. District Court for Southern District of Florida in 2020 by then-President Donald Trump. Her ruling this week led to widespread calls for her impeachment. Slate magazine legal writer Mark Joseph Stern tweeted, "The problem, of course, is that Cannon is not a real judge, but a Trump judge and one of the most corrupt of the bunch," he said. Donald Trump's former White House political advisor, Steve Bannon, has surrendered to police in New York, where he faces state charges. He defrauded donors to an anti-immigrant nonprofit called We Build the Wall. Bannon was first charged by federal prosecutors in 2020, but received a pardon from Donald Trump ahead of his trial. Two of Bannon's co-defendants later pleaded guilty to the federal charges. New York Attorney General Letitia James announced the new state charges Thursday, saying Bannon illegally pocketed donations that were given to fund sections of a barrier wall to be built along the U.S.-Mexico border.
He basically stole millions of dollars to line his own pocket and those of other politically connected people. And today, he and We Build the Wall are being charged for defrauding these donors out of more than $15 million and for laundering the proceeds to further advance and to conceal the fraud.
What you think? You wanted to make a comment about the lady talking about the Trump judge.
Yeah, well, I mean, really, it's just to me, it's just like a lot of it's a mockery. Like, I mean, it's criminals talking about other criminals. That's just where it's gotten to. You know what I'm saying? Like the audacity to try to talk shit about, like them going back and forth on each other. Because I really I think the shit that bothered me more was the whole idea of Bernie was talking about with the energy stuff.
Yeah, what about that?
I mean, these guys, you can tell where his money is invested because he's trying to move this whole thing in. Why won't people just go with the science? See, like, they want to go with the science when it benefits. That's the part that bothers me. Like, well, let's go with the science. But I mean, there's certain science that says that, really common sense says that we're not ready to go totally electric. And so, like the whole idea with, we do need to have something going on with fossil fuels until everything is like running smooth. We see everything is going great and the potential is high. Like right now, like the guy who's speaking, who's fucking Elon Musk is telling people like, shit, we're gonna ruin civilizations, not just our civilization. We're gonna ruin others because of trying to just do this thing. So going this fast with the energy, like you want to swap from one thing straight to another, and shit. I mean, okay, yeah, it can work, but is it prepared to? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we need another 10, 20, maybe even 20 years to get the infrastructure strong enough to be able to run on totally solar or
I can barely hear you, and it's like a buzzing or something. But I think that in 20 or 30 years, they're gonna be saying the same thing.
Well, how do I sound now?
Yeah, it sounds much better.
Okay, yeah, I still had it charging, but it should be charged enough. But see, if this is what they really want to move toward, because I mean, potentially they know that, because really in 20 to 30, 10 to 20 years, we'll know for certain that we've wasted a bunch of money and time trying to go full. Because I mean, when you have some people that run on solar, some people run on this, I think that will kind of balance things out more instead of just trying to have everybody move to one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna have shortages, you're gonna have like all kind of shit's gonna happen all over the world just because you're trying to get everybody to move to one thing overnight. Like, even when we started with the electrical grid that's run on coal and this, that, and the other, like, it was a gradual growth because everybody couldn't afford to get lights in their house right away or whatever. So even that took probably 50 years or so before we got people that was constantly steadily on that whole electrical thing. But
I think it's about having a commitment to spend on building that infrastructure, because when they laid those lines, the the phone line, when they did the telegraph or whatever the hell, they just started laying that shit like crazy all over the country. Same thing when they built the roads. When they started building the roads to connect the cities, they just started building that shit, bro.
Well, see, I mean, I think for me, like, I have a fear of, like, when they're able to run everything on one system, like, they can easily shut everybody down with one fucking switch. Like, that's the part that bothers me, to where, like, you're trying to force everybody to move into this one little thing where you can try to like, you can make slavery to even the free. free people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie. I would rather be able to have an independent source like solar and this, that, and the other. But at the same time, it's just a little bit fishy. And then when we really calculate everything, run everything on solar or batteries or whatever it's gonna be, it's really like setting people up for real, like, for failure.
It's already a monopoly, man. The freaking the oil companies got a chokehold on the industry. It's already a monopoly. It's already that.
Well, not really, because like there are other options out there.
What other options? Can you put some other option in your gas tank?
Oh well, no, I ain't talking about that. Cause we talking about energy. Like we ain't talking about necessarily like just gas and diesel. That's stuff that's going, like that's going to be a given. We talking about the natural gas that's going into people's homes. That's warming their homes or heating up, running their their stoves or even their
That's coming from the same. That's coming from the same companies. It's coming from the same source.
Okay, but I'm not looking at the cars. I'm looking at mainly running people's homes, because I mean there's even options like you can go get a electric car if you want to. You know what I'm saying? But I mean the time that you got to spend to charge and all that, like you can only get maybe 300 miles maybe a day, so it's only going to keep you in a local centralized area. But I mean, say, bro, look, if everybody look, y'all go ahead and depend on if whoever wants to. Like, I'm not trying to stop nobody from doing what it is they want to do, but I just feel that it's very suspicious that they really want to push everything over at one time. Like, the smart people know that, okay, even if this is a goal that we have, it's going to take longer than 2 years for this to happen.
Yeah. Let me play some more of this.
A Democratic National Committee panel has rejected a proposal to ban dark money funding, quote, during any and all Democratic primary elections, unquote. The resolution, authored by Nevada Democratic Party Chair Judith Whitmer, would have also established procedures to investigate dark money groups and discipline DNC members for accepting donations from anonymous donors. The DNC's rejection of a ban comes after dark money flooded Democratic primary races across the country this year, targeting progressive candidates seeking to challenge Democratic incumbents.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, not the DNC. They were just talking shit about the Republicans or Trump and them, taking money or banning or whatever. They was just talking about them and they taking money and doing this and that and the other. I mean, what's the difference?
Yeah, well, I mean that's hey, they both doing it.
But you know what? I have a challenge for people, like anybody that's listening. But most of the people who do listen probably would already be somewhat thinking like this. But let's vote for somebody, like if this is in the midterms, and even when it comes to presidential again. Let's vote for people who are actually offering us something instead of the ones who are trying to, make the other person look bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if if your whole campaign is talking about how bad your opponent is, that tells me that you don't really have anything to offer us.
Facebook user says, why they don't take cars that run off water is not impossible. It might be hard, but not impossible.
The guy that was in Buffalo got killed for that, because of the technology he came up with the water engine. So anybody else is probably like, oop, that like shit, they hiding they shit now. You know what I'm saying? Like they just not ready. And the reason why they're not ready is because of their freaking greed. And that's the whole thing about these politicians is we see where they invest their money at. Like that's my point a few minutes ago. Like you can tell based on what they had, what they kind of bills they plan on passing for because of the money that they've invested in certain things, because that's what they're gonna speak on and be angry if somebody, because this is like even Bernie Sanders, somebody who I feel like has a lot of integrity up there, but even him, he's doing the same shit.
Let me play some more.
Public health experts are hailing a new malaria vaccine after it showed 80% efficacy at preventing the disease in a clinical trial of children in Burkina Faso. The vaccine was produced by researchers at the University of Oxford, who published their results in the British medical journal The Lancet this week. The vaccine is relatively cheap, easy to produce, and the world's largest vaccine manufacturer, the Serum Institute of India, says it can produce at least 200 million doses annually. Malaria is among the world's deadliest infectious diseases, and the mosquito that carries it has been described as the world's deadliest animal. In 2020, more than 640,000 people died of malaria, the vast majority of them in Africa. North Korea's leader pledged Thursday his nation will never give up nuclear weapons as it seeks to counter the threat of the U.S. nuclear arsenal. Kim Jong-un made the comments at a gathering of North Korea's parliament, where members Thursday approved a new law allowing North Korea to carry out a preventive nuclear first strike while declaring the nation's nuclear arms status irreversible.
A preventive nuclear first strike approved.
As long as nuclear weapons remain on Earth and imperialism remains, and maneuvers of the United States and its followers against our republic are not terminated, our work to strengthen nuclear force will not cease.
And hundreds of Google and Amazon tech.
What do y'all think about that? So, like, that's the reason why nobody goes and fucks with North Korea. And then they call them weird and shit. It just be like, oh, they're weird. Okay. Yeah, they're weird.
Yeah, that's the easy way to try to demonize somebody who, just ain't taking your bullshit. And that's mainly what I see there. Like,
because what did he say sounded illogical? Like, did any of it sound like, just crazy talk?
No.
It didn't sound that crazy to me. It's like, hey, them niggas got nukes and they might come here and blow us up. So, hey, if we
got nukes too.
Yeah, we got nukes too. So that way that they if they try something, shit, we fuck around and find out.
We might be dying first, but guess what? They're gonna get a taste of this damn they gonna get a taste of this
radiation
too.
Yeah. So yeah, that sounds freaking logical and fair to me. Didn't sound too crazy and hot-headed to me. Elliot says ancient Chinese secrets.
You know what? I think I might have to just come to terms. I guess I am a Trump supporter.
So they wasn't lying on you. All them people that called you a Trumper.
Yeah, but like at the time, I wasn't truly a supporter. My thing was like I'm just a supporter of truth. You know what I'm saying? Like that's mostly what it's about. And I guess I noticed that I do get kind of angry when people talk shit about him, because it's like he did more for you, for everybody in this country than the president before him or after him.
Facebook user says, see, every virus have a vaccine. I ain't gonna lie, whenever they talk about vaccines or anything like that in Africa, I'm always, the more I learn about stuff and how they do stuff, every time. So, and then you can't get mad at the people over there for being like, oh, I don't want to take it. But sometimes it's a good thing because, malaria is really serious.
It's
little
really
kids,
not. I mean, I guess it could be for some people if your immune system is strong. It's not, because like my son went to Africa, to Nigeria. He came back with malaria and shit. We was playing and having fun. Like it's just like
it be babies and small kids that get it, or old folks. that get taken out by it.
Like, well, I mean, I hadn't really seen any extreme cases, so I can't really speak so much to that. But my thing is that your boy Gil Bates already said that we could solve the population problem with vaccines, and like you said, everything is coming about with you hear they want to make vaccines for everything now.
Scary. Let me play this.
Tech workers are demanding the corporations drop a $1.2 billion program known as Project Nimbus, which will provide advanced artificial intelligence tools to the Israeli government and military. The No Tech for Apartheid campaign led protests Thursday in New York, San Francisco, Seattle, and Durham, North Carolina. This is Ariel Cohen, a Jewish former Google employee who says she was forced to quit due to her activism and support of Palestinian rights.
Today, for the first time across these 4 cities, over 10 Google workers will now be going public, unafraid with their names, to denounce Project Nimbus and tell our companies, Google and Amazon, that workers say no tech for apartheid.
You can see our interview with Ariel Cohen at democracynow.org. And those.
What do you think? No tech for Israel.
No tech.
Yeah, they talking about. He said no tech for apartheid. So they was talking about sending them AIs that they can use in warfare. That means that they're going to use that to kill Palestinians more efficiently.
See, man, that's a problem.
Yeah. Let me read some comments. It says, I really like how she delivers the news without personal opinions and just the facts. No political tilt to her story. Damn, I wish the rest of the media would take lessons from her. Another comment, Code Pink co-founder Medea Benjamin is so right in her assertion that her message should reach each and every American in order to stop the bloodshed instigated by the warmongers of Washington. We all know that it's not for Ukraine that the U.S. government is wasting so much needed resources at home in this conflict that it created. Man, I gotta check on my stuff.
Somebody said that they had to get rid of her because of her. She's a shapeshifter, and she couldn't keep her, her face right.
That's funny. I gotta step away. Explain that for the audience. I'm gonna be right back.
Explain. I don't understand. Explain what? My joke? I don't know what he wants me to explain to y'all. I mean, it's just. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I don't take it as being real. I'm just saying like this. Some people said that the queen had to be taken out, like she didn't die of natural causes, that she was killed, but that was because she was displaying some abnormalities in her facials, like her, evil eyes and this and that was coming out of her. As you see her straight on. So I don't. Like I'm telling you this, but it's based on no facts. Like this is just something that I heard in the midst of the talking about the queen. They didn't present any facts as well either, so I just thought it was a funny thing to say. That it was something funny about that. Even though I am amused with that type of stuff, like vampires and shapeshifters, that TV show that came on, was it True Blood? Like that was one of my favorite shows. So I am very much into those types of stories, but I'm not gonna say that that's something that, not that it's impossible, but that I'm not gonna say that that's real unless I had some real proof.
You don't know nothing about that. Oh my God. You don't know nothing about that. I'm back. Sorry. You there?
Yeah, man. We here.
Elliot says reptilian people. It's 2:30 in the morning. I ain't gonna lie. I'm probably gonna wrap it. It's fucking Friday night.
Just got paid. Friday night. Parties jumping.
Let me read some more comments. It says, it's very easy to give military aid or aid to other nations, but why is it so hard to give aid to the American people? They are struggling. The comment earlier from Facebook user said they don't care about us.
That's a thing that I see all the time on Telegram. Like that's where I get some of my news stories from, and like that, and they give you is that this is how you know they don't care about you, and then they go on with that story, and it's like, you know,
Michael Jackson tried to tell us. He tried to tell us in that song.
All I gotta say is that they don't really care about. Yeah. But I think that's a part of why he's gone today too.
Another comment, he says, question: can a foreign government indict Trump for violating the foreign nation's classification, declassification laws? Those foreign nations,
not without war.
It says those foreign nations will be able to go after Trump as a hostile spy. I don't know. And more of it, it says maybe a foreign nation does not want some of their most valued secrets just laying about at a resort. If another nation did it to the USA, what would the USA think, say, and do? What would the USA do to foreign spy that got access to some of the USA's most valued secrets? What say you?
I kind of missed it. I was I was doing something else. I'm sorry.
He was just saying that, like, you know, what would another country do if, like, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, I think that would declare some form of war. You want to bring our president up on charges, then you know you would have to like they would have to turn him over. But then that would have to happen for not just him. It had to happen for other presidents as well. Because I mean, we can speak of, I mean, two very easily within the shit. Bush got war crimes. Obama's got war crimes. Shoot, even I mean, the Clintons got war crimes. So it's like, why y'all picking on him? Why you picking on Trump?
Yeah, man, I know what I wanted to cover. Then that's gonna make me have to do a show tomorrow if I don't do it today. Maybe I'll cover it today. The Democrats and their freaking, because they did mention that in this too, because I have a video on how the Democrats are funding Republicans.
Yeah, did I send you that, or did you send me that?
I might have sent that to you. Did you watch that? What did you think of that? That's crazy, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean it makes sense, you know, to some extent. I mean, when you know, if you got that kind of mindset, you want to make, if you can control who becomes your opponent,
right? So, and another thing I thought about was I wonder if there was somewhat of that going on with Trump when Trump ran for office.
I don't know.
And how long have they been doing this? And what other campaigns have been impacted by this? Because they figured Trump was a long shot, like he wasn't gonna win. Like no way that he's gonna win. That's what they were thinking. It was like he's the one that's not gonna win. Let's hypothetically, let's back this guy and make sure he makes it up there so we can win easily. But it didn't work out for them.
Yeah, I mean like I said, that's a great strategy. I think. Like, I mean, you put money behind some of the guys that's you would rather compete against, or maybe even these are people. Because I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, these are not dumb people that's running the government. They might be evil, but they're not dumb. They because it's like.
How is Douglas Murray?
It's like, how is it that you, just, what was the last thing?
My bad. It's me distracting you, with this shit. But, damn it, I done lost it too. Cause I'm on to the next thing already. Cause I figured you would enjoy this right here. Cause it's saying Trump gave Europeans a long overdue reality check. This is what this headline says. Basically, they're talking about how he was saying, relying on energy from Russia and stuff. Let me see. Does it say it underneath this? It says author Douglas Murray says former U.S. President Donald Trump said Germany was too reliant on Russian gas and that it would be paying a price for this at the UN 4 years ago. And the German diplomats all laughed away and giggled away at Donald Trump, he told Sky News. Now you may not think that Donald Trump is the world's finest purveyor of truth, but he was willing to tell the truth on this occasion. He was saying something that was absolutely true and giving the Europeans a reality check that was long overdue. What you think?
Yeah, I think that sums it up, because I mean, really, I mean, you can do like I said, nobody's telling you not to hope and for a better future, and you make your moves toward doing that. Like it'll be insane for you not to, but when you're trying to shut off, fuel production, and we hadn't even really gotten the infrastructure set yet, like. What these charging stations gonna be at? Like, will you be able to make it there? Will you make it there? Is there enough pumps? Because it's gonna take you. It's not a battery. It's not gonna charge in 30 seconds. It's gonna take probably an hour or two that you're gonna have to sit there and charge before you can go somewhere, just to make it to the next charging station. Sometimes I really don't know how to take it or how to say, because it's just. There's no common sense in that to me.
My bad, I'm back. I had to give me something to eat, bro. I went to work and I didn't freaking eat. I was fucking hungry. Let me play some of this video.
Associate editor of The Spectator and the best-selling author of The War on the West. Douglas, it's going to be a long, dark and cold winter for Europe. There is an energy crisis that is almost all self-inflicted. And as you've noted, there's a reality check underway for all the democracies that have embraced green policies, none more so than Germany.
That's right. Just think back over recent years in the West. Who has been perhaps one of the most important voices pushing us all to go straight onto green energy? But of course, a Swedish schoolgirl who decided to play truant. And we can tell in the fact that we actually had almost every major politician in the West actually listen to her. We can see a problem, the paucity of the debate in our societies, the lack of seriousness about issues that should be really serious. 4 years ago at the UN, Donald Trump said that Germany was too reliant on Russian gas and that it would be paying a price for this. And the German diplomats, including the German ambassador to the United Nations, all laughed away and giggled away at Donald Trump. Now, you may not think that Donald Trump is the world's finest purveyor of truth, but he was telling the truth on this occasion. He was saying something that was absolutely true and giving the Europeans a reality check that was long overdue. The fact is that in European nation after European nation, and in so many other countries in the West, everybody tried to get off fossil fuels too fast. They closed down their nuclear reactors. They didn't want to build any new ones. And, guess what? Turns out that Vladimir Putin has Europe's winter in his hands. And this was totally foreseeable. And the fact that we listened, as I say, to people we should never have listened to is something that we will, I'm sure, be reflecting on. And Germans and others will be reflecting on as the lights go out this winter.
What you think?
I think Trump was, of course he was right about his statement, but I think he's been trying to show Europe for a long time that y'all are making really bad decisions, and that's one of his reasons, I believe, for stepping away from NATO when he was in office. This is bullshit. And then you want us to jump up and fight anytime you doing some dumb shit and you don't want to pay properly. What's the point? You know what I'm saying? So, which I agree with when he did it and now. So
I agree with that move too, but I don't think he really understood, the big picture related to
that. Nobody knew the whole Ukraine thing was going to happen, because that's a personal. See, that's personal interest that's being used by our government. Our president has personal things going on and deals going on with Ukraine, and that's why this whole thing we're seeing with that is happening is because of him being in office. But this stuff would have never happened if Trump was still president. Now we would still have some things to worry about after he was gone, because I think this was to some extent, I'm kind of glad that things happened the way it did, is because we're able to see clearly who's doing what. Because the proof is really in the pudding. If you get your foot, stop, just taking sides just to be taking side. This is the side I've always been on, and really look at the score. It's simple to see. It's so simple to see. Because Trump was building relationships. There was no kind of war going on. He was building, our trade was great, even with him, the tariffs and all that issue that they had, bro. Everybody expected he was going to be the one go to war. Who was going to war?
Well, it was Afghanistan was going on at that time.
But but see, he the one brought that to a close.
Yeah. Let me play some of this, and we're gonna wrap it on this topic, because I just wanted to cover this about the Democrats funding the far right.
is Republican State Senator Doug Mastriano. He's the Republican who's ahead in the polls for governor.
Earlier this year, Democrat Josh Shapiro spent $840,000 on this ad for far-right Republican candidate Doug Mastriano.
He wants to end vote by mail, and he led the fight to audit the 2020 election.
In June, the Democratic Colorado PAC funded this ad for far-right candidate Ron Hanks. And you better believe that back in May, the Democratic Governors Association ran this ad for the far-right Republican Darren Bailey. Before I explain what's going on, look at this ad. This one was funded by a Nancy Pelosi PAC in California. Try to remember that while you're watching it, because this is what these ads look like in practice.
Same label, so Republicans got to check the ingredients. David Valadao claims he's Republican. Yet, David Valadao voted to impeach President Trump. Yeah, Valadao voted to impeach Trump. And Republican Chris Matisse, a true conservative, 100% pro-Trump and proud. Pro-Trump Republican Chris Matisse, military veteran, local businessman. Or politician David Valadao who voted to impeach Trump. Republicans, it's time to decide. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
All these ads are essentially the same. They're all targeted at a conservative audience, and they all paint the candidates in the same way, as the most conservative candidate that's closest to Trump. In other words, as the Republican voter's best choice. What the is going on?
So what the hell is going on, Pat? What you think?
Well, like I said, I mean, it's a bunch of bullshit, but at the same time, it's genius. Like, I mean, you got to give it to them. I mean, they smart as hell.
Diabolical.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can call it what you like, but I mean, these people, like, when it comes, all right. Now you gotta think about it too. Like, some of these people are like career politicians. They've been doing it. Like, this might be their third cycle of trying the same kind of shit that we just so happen to be able to see.
And it probably worked all the other times.
Yeah.
And we didn't know nothing about it. Wasn't paying attention. Let me read some comments. It says, "This reminds me of a tweet I saw regarding the Democratic Party. Why bother appealing to voters when you can just engineer a hostage situation instead? Engineer a hostage situation instead."
Yeah.
Another comment, it says, when politicians can't offer you dreams, they give you nightmares instead.
Oh, wow. Yes, bro. That's like, that's the shit I'm screaming right there, man. Because it's like what I was saying earlier about the challenge. About, I mean, another part of that challenge is, you know, will you allow because they always try to, you know, give you all of the fears of what's going to happen when if their opponent gets in office. But like, what are you know, like, what are you actually doing to change or to counter what it is that they're doing or have done? You know, what solutions are you offering for the people? You know, that's
nothing. Well, what they're gonna offer you is a nightmare, like he said. It's like, hey, you know, the world's gonna come to an end if you don't vote for us. Like, don't vote for that other guy. He's like the devil.
Yeah.
See, look at your life. See, we're gonna make you suffer, and you're gonna suffer worse. So we might lessen your suffering a little bit if you act right and vote for us. Like,
give me the blood out of your pinky toe.
And if you don't vote Democrat, you ain't black.
Oh Lord. Yeah, that should have never get old.
Let me read some more. It says, this video was fantastic and really shows the contributions the Democratic Party has done with U.S. polarization, watching from Puerto Rico. Another comment, it says, these videos are so incredibly important to spreading class consciousness and the downfall of capitalism. Thank you so much. Another comment, be a shame if the Dems would just work on making themselves better instead of Republicans worse.
Amen.
No, that sounds too much like right. Nah, I gotta do work to do that. I gotta look at myself and improve. I gotta accept what I did wrong and admit that I was wrong. I ain't doing that.
Yeah, no, that takes integrity. So like something that they don't have.
It says ratchet effect. Another comment, it says, if there was ever damning evidence of the ratchet effect, this is it. Great work as always. Now time to watch the new deprogram episode. If there was ever evidence of the ratchet effect, I don't know what the ratchet effect is. That's interesting to me. Another comment, it says, as a downstate Illinoisian, it's kind of terrifying how hard I've seen folks down here throw themselves behind Darren Bailey. I know that it wasn't touched on this video, but Bailey is one of the most reprehensible politicians I've seen run for office here. And we exclusively elected the most corrupt people you could possibly find for almost 2 decades. It's funny how that happens. The worst of the worst. The worst of the worst. They talk about the cream rises to the crop. I think shit floats. Shit floats too. Yep. I'm gonna have to wrap it, man. I gotta work. I think I work all day tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm tired too, man. Shit, I'm taking off tomorrow, but however, it's just kind of I'm struggling right now.
Yeah, it's almost 3.
Yeah, well, it's 10 minutes to 4 over here.
Yeah, so man, thank y'all for joining. Think outside of the box. You see the green screen background, it's got the lady with her head in the box. So don't be that lady. Think outside the box. Actually outside of the box. Instead of like I said at the beginning, it's like you say, think outside the box, and then they're like, yeah, think outside the box. And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go at it. And then they're like, no, not like that. You know, like the water car would be an example of that. It's like, think outside the box and think of some alternative energy. Okay, cool. I'm gonna use this water and I'm gonna use that. No, not like that. And when I feel like when you're in the corporate world, when you're in the workplace, that's what it is. That's how it is. And they tell you to think outside the box, but within the parameters of our directions. You know?
Exactly.
It's like, wait a minute. So wait, but I could do this way more efficiently. No. That's against company procedures. That's against policies. That's against the whatever the heck. So no, not like that. Wait, you said think outside the box. What you want me to do? Anyways, peace and love. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for listening. And I ain't gonna guarantee a show tomorrow because I work all day tomorrow. So depending on how I feel, I might do one if I get out there early enough. But no guarantees on that. Probably not. I ain't gonna lie. So peace and love. Thank y'all for joining. Get y'all some rest. Hopefully y'all learned something. It's like I try to edutain, you know. It's like educate and entertain at the same time, you know. And you know, about everything. Politics, social issues, you know, spirituality, random stuff, history, you know, educate and entertain. That's what I'm trying to do. So hopefully I did a little bit of that out of this 2 hours and 44-minute stream right here. So like I say, man, peace and love. Thank y'all for joining. Y'all get y'all some rest.